Hi, it's Adam here from adaminsights.com. April 2025 marks my 10-year anniversary as a user of the Leica M camera system. And looking back over the past 10 years since I bought my very first Leica M in April 2015, I wouldn't have had it any other way. I absolutely love the Leica M system, and it's why I have to say now, after 10 years, with absolute confidence, there's nothing quite like a Leica M camera. Leica cameras are just more than tools. They're true instruments of artistic expression. They're designed for photographers who want to be truly connected to the pictures that they're taking, and they offer the path of least resistance from taking the picture to having a print in your hands. And they don't let you get distracted by technology, because Leica M cameras are just so simple, but they're just so tough, reliable, and they handle the light in such a unique way. The picture quality is just way ahead of anything else by any other manufacturer. And so you really can actually just take a picture with an M and end up with an absolutely wow factor print in your hands, be it from film or digital, whatever. And that, to me, makes them truly worth the investment, amongst other things as well, which we'll get into now actually. So this is actually one of my Leica M cameras. I currently own 3 different M's. I've got a Leica M11 purchased in 2022, and I've always had a digital Leica M. I've got a Leica MP, which was my first film Leica camera, which I really was proud to buy in 2016. And then I've got the Leica MA, which was bought because the opportunity presented itself to get a hold of it really quickly in 2023. And the Leica MA body was a really great acquisition. So I actually quite like having the 3 different Leica M bodies, because as it stands at the moment, I've got quite a collection of the Leica M lenses. I've got the 28mm f1.4 Summilux. I've got the 35mm f1.4 Summilux and a 50mm f1.4 Summilux as well. Along with a couple of Voigtlanders, which I use for experimental purposes, and a 28mm f2.8 Elmerit, which is just a great little compact lens, which is normally on the MA, but right now it's sporting my latest lens acquisition, which is the 28mm f5.6 Summilux lens. So this actually just brings me on to, I guess, the cost and the investment required with Leica. As you're seeing this right now in 2025 numbers, the Leica MA is a $10,000 camera. It shoots film. There's no electronics in it whatsoever, so there's no image stabilization, there's not even a light meter, there's no autofocus. It is just a metal box that goes click and will give you a different shutter speed depending on what you set the shutter for. And it has Leica's famous rangefinder focusing system. So on top of that $10,000 investment, the 28mm Summilux lens is about $4,000 to $4,500 Australian retail. So as you're seeing this here, we're looking at about up to about a $14,500 camera, which is completely film, no autofocus, no auto exposure, no built-in light meter, no image stabilization. It's a 28mm f5.6, and because it shoots film, you can't vary the ISO. There's not even a self-timer on here either, by the way. But there's something fantastic about the image quality, and that's what's a real standout point for me. But that actually wasn't the original reason why I decided to very seriously look at the Leica M's back in sort of early 2015 and ended up purchasing my first one, which was an M240. In sort of January 2015, out of curiosity, I'd purchased the Leica Deluxe, it's kind of like their rebadged Panasonic. and at the time it could be had for about 999 Australian, and I wanted to have a compact camera with me because at that time phone cameras were pretty rubbish. I mean, well, phone cameras are still pretty rubbish, even in 2025, to be honest, compared to what you can get out of a decent camera. So yeah, I wanted a compact camera, and so I bought the Leica Deluxe 109. Fantastic camera. My review of it is still on YouTube after all this time. And the reason I was sort of looking around for a new camera at the time was because I've been shooting Canon and I'd also been shooting Nikon, and 2015 was the time when a lot of the manufacturers were moving away from their mirrored DSLRs into mirrorless. And I started to feel a little bit betrayed, because since sort of about 2006, 2007, I bought into the Canon system, the Canon EF system as it was known, and I'd collected a few lenses. And I was happy with those lenses because lenses were for life, and lenses very rarely get upgraded. And when they do, the new camera bodies tend to always support the same lens mount. So ever since like my first ever Canon 400D, which I had bought around 2007 as a little bit of a upgrade from my original Nikon D50, which I was really proud of at the time, I'd accumulated a few Canon EF lenses, and I'd also actually bought into the Nikon system as well, and I was buying some Nikon lenses as well. So by about 2013, 2014, I was really happy with a Canon EOS 6D and a Nikon D800, D810, something around those times. And I had a nice collection of lenses for their mounts, which I'd accumulated over the years. And I was also able to, say, jump onto eBay and buy some second-hand lenses, and it was great. It was wonderful. But then stuff happened around 2014, 2015, and into 2016, where mirrorless started to come about. And I could see the writing on the wall that mirrorless was about to take over. And mirrorless was in fact going to render my lens collection obsolete. So all of those lenses that I'd invested in over the years were going to become worthless, and I wasn't really going to be able to use them on future bodies that I would buy. And fair enough, it can be done with some adapters, but you lose image quality. So what's the point of that? So I was looking at it and I was a bit miffed at the time. What do I do? I'm about to lose my photographic capability with these manufacturers that I've invested in and trusted over the years. So I wasn't sure. I very quickly eBayed all of my gear, and I wasn't quite sure what to do. So then I did a bit of research. The Leica M system, and what makes it really special, is that they haven't changed the M mount since the 1950s. So you can buy a modern Leica M rangefinder, digital rangefinder camera today, and you can put a lens on that that was originally manufactured in the 1950s. Similarly, you can take a Leica M3 body from the 1950s and you can put one of Leica's latest lenses on there, and it'll work just fine because Leica has never changed the lens mount. That to me makes them much better value. They're never going to go obsolete, and the system is special and it's unique. It's just going to work forever. That's the best thing about Leica. And Leica itself was actually the original mirrorless system. They originally came up with the mirrorless rangefinder, and what's really special about it is that the lens is really close to the film or the image sensor, and so they've had the qualities of mirrorless cameras way back to the 50s. So Leica had the very first mirrorless camera. It wasn't Sony, it wasn't Panasonic. So what was my very first Leica camera? Well, it was actually a Leica M240 with a 50mm Summit, which was their f2.4 lens at the time. And so when I bought my very first Leica M, which was a Leica M240 with a 50mm f2.4mm Summit lens at the time, which was basically the most entry-level lens that you could put on a Leica M at the time, I absolutely hated it. I didn't get along with it. I couldn't take decent pictures with it. What I was taking was underexposed, it was out of focus, and the framing was awful. And I was really disheartened because I was kind of proud of some of the images that I was getting previously on my DSLRs, and I was really enjoying my DSLRs before that, but I actually wasn't really enjoying the Leica M. And I came very close to just offloading the Leica M pretty quickly after acquiring it. But then I realized I was kind of trying to use the Leica M in the same way as a DSLR, which is the wrong thing to do. Because I was, with a DSLR, you know, I was used to things like autofocus, blazingly fast autofocus that could track things. I was used to all sorts of exposure assistance, and I was used to rapid fire, none of which really exists on a Leica M. And so I had to change my way of thinking, and I had to change the way that I was actually shooting. I had to be a lot more connected with the pictures I was taking, and I actually had to think a lot more about the pictures that I wanted and how technically the picture would actually work, as opposed to just relying on the computers in the camera to do it all for me. Because I realized that as a DSLR shooter, I was really just using the computers in the camera to take a picture that would look good, as opposed to really truly being connected with the picture I was taking. So then I spent many weeks out, or months, taking the Leica M out every weekend that I possibly could, and I was trying to learn how to expose the camera correctly. I was using the Sunny 16 rule. I was also using zone focusing a lot more. And what that ended up meaning was that I no longer had to rely on even trying to focus the Leica M with its built-in rangefinder anymore. As soon as I would pick up the camera, I would adjust my lens to where it had to be. I would already have adjusted the aperture and the shutter speed to where it needed to be, and I could just take my shot and that would be it. I was really quick. I was faster at focusing it than I was with focusing my DSLR, even with autofocus, which was, I mean, I know it sounds weird, but it was just the way that I ended up doing it. So how do you focus a Leica M? Well, Leica M's are really special in the way that you focus them. You have a look through the viewfinder and you'll see that there's a focusing patch, which is a slightly brighter part of your image right around it. Then you just move the focusing tab on the lens so that the image in the focusing patch lines up with the image through your viewfinder. When they line up, voila, you're in focus. The other cool thing that you see when you look through the viewfinder of an M is the frame lines. So you can see what is in and out of your frame. A DSLR or a mirrorless system tends to black out everything that's outside of your frame, whereas the M lets you be a lot more effective with your framing. That's something that's really, really cool, and it's something which I've grown to really like about the Leica M system. After having the Leica M240 for a few months, I ended up upgrading it to a Leica MP Type 240 with a 35mm f2 Summicron in the form of the Leica MP Safari. This one took things to a whole new level for me, and I was suddenly enjoying the much faster lenses out of the Summicron. Amazing images, and it was really cool to be walking around with a green camera. From there, I moved into the Leica MP Film, and I expanded my lenses to include some more Summilluxes as well. So I ended up acquiring a 35mm f1.4 Summilux, which is just the ultimate in low light and shallow depth of field lenses. as I later expanded my digital Leica into a M10, I ended up getting the 50mm f1.4 Summilux and the 28mm f1.4 Summilux as well, really giving me that trinity of the f1.4, really bright, highly detailed, low light performing lenses, which also give you a beautiful shallow depth of field as well. And so then the versatility in what I've been able to shoot with my Leicas has just been completely unmatched compared to what is possible out of a DSLR or a mirrorless system. When you start to use an M more and more, you realize that you can take an M with you everywhere. And an M can be in your bag, say on a commute to work, and you can just grab any shot that you want and it's going to end up looking great. Especially after I've got used to using the M, and I don't even have to worry about adjusting the settings, because after shooting with an M for 10 years, I get an idea on what the light looks like, and I get an idea on roughly where I have to have the lens set as far as my focus goes, and also my aperture for the depth of field, to be able to compose the shot that I would like. And so as I'm lifting the camera up to my eye, it's just muscle memory. I'm adjusting the shutter speed, aperture, and the focus literally from about here to here, and I've already got everything ready to go. All I have to do is frame and shoot. This is also one of the other reasons why I love shooting film, because you get to learn the characteristics of different films and put the different film in the camera, and you get to know what its color, its contrast, how it's going to behave in different lighting conditions is going to look, what its grain structure is going to look like. And then it means that you end up just taking your shots and you don't even have to worry about editing them in Lightroom, and then you just get a print in your hands, or you share an image online and it makes people happy. The beautiful thing about a Leica is that you don't end up worrying about, oh, how good does my histogram look in Lightroom? You end up worrying about having a picture that looks really good and is really satisfying. So where do I buy all of my Leica gear? I actually buy all of my Leica gear at PhotoCo in Adelaide. So PhotoCo in Australia is definitely one of the best places to be buying Leica, because their pricing is really sharp. They tend to sort out any issues with Leica for you on your behalf if ever you need that. So yeah, PhotoCo is where I buy. I love dealing with the people there as well. Leica Australia, they're great people to deal with. Their service center has been really great. When I had a visit to Leica in Germany a few years ago, you can read about that on my blog. That was an amazing trip. They were so welcoming and did some really great things to go above and beyond, give me a wonderful day there. So 10 years with Leica, am I happy with it? You bet I am. I love Leica overall. Please check out my blog, check out the images, check out my comparisons between the different lenses. I'd love to hear from you.